What's the crack? Welcome back to the Irish Voice podcast. We skipped a week there, and now we're back, just the two of us. I think life is getting in the way for the three of us at the moment between dinners and
Yeah.
work. But an air of positivity this week. So, following on from what has been a droll international period, Manchester United beat
Mm.
Sunderland. And we want to talk obviously about the Sunderland game tonight, and then I want to talk about the rumours of a takeover because you were much better at the social pages and the news columns than I am. So can't wait to hear this. And then I think we'll finish up with a look ahead to what is a very tough weekend for Manchester United. So first off, put our positivity. What do you think of Sunderland?
I thought we were very good. I really did. I think we controlled the game in large parts. Um, I think the ebb and flow was better. We defended better. I think all round it was a good game. And I don't think the score line flattered us.
Yeah, I definitely think there was more goals in it for United.
Should have been.
Sunderland could have scored two. They had their chances. After me grandstanding about Lamans last time, he ended up starting, and I thought he did really well.
I thought, no, well, he did do very well. I mean, who knew a goalkeeper could catch the ball with both hands?
He's brilliant at collecting crosses.
I thought he was very commanding in the area, and for such a young goalkeeper, he was very confident. You could hear him barking at the defenders all the time. Now, that one mistake he made was that, and it was a very, the wind apparently played an awful lot in that match because it was swirling and stuff like that. But when he came out and to help Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah,
that to me was 50-50 whether it was a penalty or not.
yeah. To me, it was a penalty.
Definitely was, yeah. But I
Yeah.
thought the Sunderland goalkeeper had an outstanding game.
Oh,
What is
he's
it with
brilliant.
goalkeepers coming to Old Trafford?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Manchester United aren't really. They still aren't creating those clear cut chances, but they're starting to take the half chances, which is a real positive. I think the finishing was good in the Sunderland game. They put the ball away. Delighted to see Benjamin Sesko get a real scrappy poacher's goal. He just lingered about for the throw. He was there when it happened. I thought he had a really good game. Looked like a really confident player, holding the ball up and moving the ball on. Still think they're struggling to try and find him in the box. But he got his goal and he did really well. I think it was a big tell of the mentality of Ruben Amorim that he dropped Mateus Cunha, and I thought that was deserved because he's very selfish at the moment, and he's getting frustrated on the pitch. But as a fan, I'm getting frustrated with him. He's trying to be a one man show.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think on form at the minute, Mason Mount should not be dropped.
No, for
I think
Mbumo or
at
Cunha.
present, Mason Mount offers a lot more than Mateus Cunha. A
I
lot more.
think
I think more of the
he's also
skilled
offering
players,
more than
sorry.
Brandon Mbumo at the minute for me. Just in terms of Brandon Mbumo and Mateus Cunha, I think will be much better players for Manchester United than Mason Mount is going to be. But Mason Mount is a brilliant team player. He
Yeah.
plays for the team. He works selflessly to come back to try and win the ball. He's all around the pitch at the minute. He looks super fit. At the moment, Mason Mount, he's putting in a real energetic shift. And there are goals in Mount. That was a brilliant finish.
Yeah.
Brilliant finish. Just took it down and calmly rolled it into the corner of the net. It was a real Premier League player's finish. He knew exactly how much time he had. He knew that he didn't have to panic, and he just put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it is. And you could also see the confidence grow in the team when they scored the first goal, when they went 1-0 up, instead of trying to playing catch up. And I think
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with the mentality in any team. But and I have to say the crowd played their part. They were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they seem really behind him. So I think once you have that sort of confidence and you know that the manager is going to stay, the players have to up their game because I think what Manchester United are doing really well behind the scenes, and people have real mixed opinions on this, is showing that they are behind Ruben Amorim and really showing the players as much as fans, look, this is the plan for Manchester United's future. This is exactly what we want to do. It's going to be 3 years of Ruben Amorim. Stop complaining about systems and the manager. Get on board with it, and that's going to be the way it is. And I don't have the confidence that others do that Ruben Amorim will get it right, but it's nice for a change to see the Manchester United board come out and just confidently say, look, we don't care.
Yeah.
We are aware of the problems of this football club, and chopping and changing managers is not going to get us there. So for the next 3 years, it's everybody behind Ruben Amorim, and if it fails, it fails. And I thought Jim Ratcliffe was brilliant when he came out and said that. What did you
Yeah.
think?
I know, I agree with you. And I think it's important to make the point that it doesn't matter who the manager of Man United is, they're always going to have a target on their back where the media is concerned because of the simple fact they're a Man United manager. They might be lucky enough to go 6, 7 games without a defeat, but once that first defeat comes, the press just stick the knives in. I don't know what reason. Maybe because of the previous success of the club. I don't know what it is. But there's always a target on your back, no matter who you are.
I think, yeah, you need to detach away from the media at times. I seen when the news broke that Jim Ratcliffe was going to give Ruben Amorim 3 years. And it followed a win at Sunderland, where they kind of, there was a bit of positivity and stuff around Manchester United. He won that game. I think we're only like 4 points away from top 4 or something like that. We're not doing badly this season, but it's sensationalised. And then I seen Sky Sports say Ratcliffe backs. I'm going to paraphrase here. Ratcliffe backs Amorim for 3 years, but that doesn't mean the Glazers will. And trying to reference that the Glazers could step in and sack Ruben Amorim. And I just thought, what a needless, stupid headline. Yeah. People will jump on, because there's such negativity at the minute around Manchester United, that's what sells. That's the clickbait that you're going for. Oh, yes, we all got on the bandwagon and said that Ruben Amorim could go, and it's drawn the eyeballs for the past 4 weeks, but, keep reading, because just because Jim says he stays doesn't mean the Glazers will keep him. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, and then the next breath they're saying there's a takeover. So it's the press.
Now, the takeover is interesting, right? So we go past the Sunderland game, right? The takeover is the main point I wanted to talk about today. I don't know how much you know about this Turgel Sheikh person. He's very prominent in boxing. He's kind of the sporting lead for the country of Saudi Arabia when it comes to other sporting events. I watched the Matchroom documentary. He's very eccentric, very ambitious sporting promoter. And he launched a tweet as a Manchester United fan. The people who jumped onto it and tried to discredit, and he said, United is potentially being sold. Because apparently in 2027, once the new stadium stuff is built, the club will actually devalue. It's not going to go up, because, again, the debts and stuff that it's under, the Glazers could be liable for some of the debt that's coming on. Basically, if they sell up now, they can walk away profit-free. So I do think there is something happening in the background, because from what I know of the man, Mum, he's not one to just come out and make foolish statements. And when it comes to the sporting world and the world of billionaires and Qatar and all this, he will know. There will be rumours and mutterings, and he will talk to people that will turn around and say, look, the Qataris are on about buying United again. That consortium that went in for Jim Ratcliffe shares now wants to buy the Glazer shares.
Well, I read today that the Qataris are out. That the Glazers want at least 5 billion. And yes, you're right, this is the best time for them to sell. And it is a consortium from the UAE that were apparently meeting in United's headquarters in London a couple of days ago. But now that has not really come out from any reputable source.
£5 billion in these people's worlds is not a big amount.
It's pocket change.
It's not.
Yeah.
You say it quick enough and people will go, 5 billion, God, it'll never happen. That's not a big amount of money to them. I seen him when he was discussing figures on the Matchroom documentary, and he was talking about millions and billions as if it was Monopoly and that he was playing Monopoly. It was frightening actually to see the level of wealth that they were discussing be done so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
I don't think that will rule anybody out that the Glazers want 5 billion. United is probably worth 5 billion. It's about to have a new £1 billion stadium. The Glazers are selling up because they've had it for that long that they will be liable for the interest payments, I think, in 2027, so they will have to spend money to stay. So, I don't know, 5 billion plus what? What is the payments that have to be made in 2027? Are the Glazers tapping a £5 billion on because they're still liable for the debt? Is that 5 billion minus what they have to pay?
Oh no,
it'd be interesting to see the specifics.
and that's it. I think it's 5 billion to the Glazers. Whoever takes the club on will have to pay the debt.
Well,
I
to that
think
case,
that's where the plus comes.
you need Middle Eastern investment then, unfortunately. If you look at
But
the
look at
wealth of
it this way,
Manchester United
Roy.
and the size of it,
Yeah, look at it this way. Manchester United and the size of it, it's one of the biggest commercial clubs in the world, right? If you are the owner from the UAE or Qatar, somewhere in the Middle East, you are going to make millions playing football matches in your backyard.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? That apparently there's 2 matches lined up now. I only heard confirmation of one of them. That United's going to fly to Saudi Arabia, I think, and it's worth 10 million to them. 10 million for one match.
yeah. Well, I was going to say where the attraction and the draw is there because we seen in the summer when Manchester United tried their tour of Asia, it was a bit of a washout because Manchester United didn't have the pulling power that they used to have. They own Newcastle, the Saudi Arabians, but I haven't seen Newcastle fly out to play as a showpiece game in Saudi Arabia. I know Manchester United is a much larger football club,
Because
but
Newcastle, sorry to interrupt, Roy, Newcastle United is not supported in, what do you call it, the Middle East, the way that United is. Newcastle is not a big draw. The like of uh, the Barcelonas, the Madrids, the Man United. No, they are the biggest followed clubs in the world. Newcastle
yeah,
will take Newcastle fans, but if you have United, United's the biggest show in town, even though we're mid-table.
I get that, but I don't know enough about the politics of the Middle East. If you were the Qataris and you bought Manchester United, why would you want them to play in Saudi Arabia? Surely you'd want them to play in Qatar. And if they're playing in Qatar, who are they going to play? And
Well, nobody's
what
bought them over
interest will there
yet.
be in Qatar to watch it? It's just a
I
strange dynamic.
Yeah, it could be a showpiece to see what crowds it does draw.
I
And then
mean,
it could be a
they are
little.
buying up sports at the minute. They've invested
Well,
in.
Saudi Arabia is out because the Saudis have come out and said no, they own Newcastle,
They
and
can't
they have
buy it.
no notion of selling Newcastle to buy Man United. So apparently, it's a consortium from the United Arab Emirates.
I read that too. The Qataris, the UAE, and was there something mentioned about the Americans, a Todd Bowley-esque takeover where a consortium of American investors could buy over Manchester United. Look, in my head, the successful ones that have done these implementations and dragged their team up into the upper echelons of the Premier League is the Middle East. Chelsea have kind of done it in the sense that they've been minorly successful. They won their European top competition, albeit it was the lesser one of it. They did very well in the Club World Cup to win it. They're not performing overly well in the league. They're hit and miss in the league, as can be seen by them getting beat by us. Newcastle have been dragged up by the Saudi Arabians, and of course the blueprint for how you want to be successful is probably Man City. And Man City have been brilliant under Sheikh Mansour because they spend as much as they need to when they need to, albeit they're cheats and they overinflated their books or whatever, but they still spent it. They still have those memories of winning Premier Leagues and FA Cups and the treble, and the quadruple is their next goal. And there's nothing to say that this current Man City team could not win the quadruple because Erling Haaland is on fire at the minute, and
Yeah.
if City click properly, these talks at the minute between Arsenal and Liverpool winning the league, it could be City.
No, you can't rule them out.
You can't. They're a mega force. But back to Manchester United, I would like to see a Middle Eastern consortium buy up the Glazers' shares and work with Jim Ratcliffe. I don't think Jim Ratcliffe is doing a bad job. I really don't. I think he's extremely hampered at the minute by the debt of Manchester United and the fact that we could blow PSR out of the water if we weren't lumped with these negative equity deals that we have. PSR, we could spend 250, 300 million pound a window like Man City, like Liverpool did in the summer. But we always have the niggling ghost of that debt put in behind us that hammers our PSR right down.
Yeah, if you're hamstrung by it.
Yeah, so if you get a rich owner, a business owner who really cares about Manchester, a Manchester United fan with mess around money, unlimited wealth, then Manchester United could get back to being the force that it was. And it's horrible that we have to do that because we can't do it in a footballing sense. That'd be the first criticism labelled at it. So, you've been spent money and blah blah, and you misspent it, and yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but
But
we
now
did
that
misspend it, Rory. There was an awful lot of money misspent,
didn't we
and an
spend
awful lot that wasn't invested through those dividends and stuff like that.
the Glazers spent over £1 billion trying to fix Manchester United post Alex Ferguson, over £1 billion, different managers, different players, just none of it came right. There needs to be an upper tier that you answer to, and that upper tier, led by Jim Ratcliffe, seems to be coming out and saying, look, 3 years, we're sticking with this guy. Yeah, as long as he doesn't walk away, he is the manager. Unless he's trying to scare Ruben Amorim into quitting. Here, I'm not going to sack you, so if you want to go, you have to quit.
Could be.
But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if Manchester United is actually for sale. I don't think he would have come out, mum, and said that, and then tweeted again the next day and reaffirmed what he was saying. Look, folks, I have no interest in buying Manchester United, but I am telling you, Manchester United is for sale.
Yeah, well, when it broke at the start, one of the sources said the higher ups at Man United heard nothing about it, but they're not going to disclose, any details of a sale, especially not with the media at this stage. But when it came out and it said, because he said in his tweet, he said it was advanced. There was advanced talks. So you don't know what the Glazers are pulling.
They don't have to tell. I don't think they have to notify their partner that they're selling their shares. I think they can go about their business as they please. They are not the controlling. They're not the football controlling side of Manchester United. That's Jim Ratcliffe and the organisation. So when they come out and say, first we heard of it, it's probably the truth. But who's to say that our, albeit not so silent partners across the water, aren't considering selling up to the Middle East, aren't considering giving this all up now, and have approached probably different multiple parties and said, look, this is the fee. We got, what did they get, 2 billion off Jim, 1.6 billion off Jim?
Yeah.
And we're selling the rest for 5 billion, which means all in all they would make 6.6 billion for the sale of Manchester United.
Some money.
Crazy. Considering the money they've taken out over the years.
That's
it's
what
insane.
I mean.
It's
With
brilliant
dividends
business.
and stuff. Yeah.
They were kind of the first Americans to latch onto the profitability that was going to come with the Premier League, and it's higher status, and they've done it really, really well. They bought us, kept us, and now they're going to sell us off for maximum profit. I mean, I can't be angry at that from a business sense. It's smart.
Yeah, but they bought us with debt, Rory. How that happened? I know it's not. You can't do it now, but they snuck in the door before any legislation come in or any rules come in.
Yeah,
But the way
and
they
we're
did
the
it,
showpiece for having the PSR rules, I think,
Yeah.
because it's going to be, unless we can get a mega rich owner that can come in and help us with that, it's going to be interesting years ahead. Although Jim Ratcliffe, I think, has foreseen this, and I think he has a plan for how to do it. And if the Glazers were selling their shares, why would any of us not just buy it?
too much. Isn't he losing money on the, what do you call it, the chemical plants that he has, with all the
I've no idea.
restrictions?
No clue.
Yeah, I think he is. I think they're closing some of them down because of legislation.
I mean, any of us turns over, what, 20 billion a year?
I wouldn't know.
I think it was. I think when I looked at it previously, any of us turns over 20 plus billion a year. I don't think he's going to be annoyed at having to shut a few plants. I don't think that's going to massively hamper his fucking global empire. Jim Ratcliffe is an extremely wealthy man who owns an extremely wealthy company.
Yeah,
And if any of us wanted to buy
Rory,
Manchester United, it'd be a quarter of the year's profits. It'd be nothing.
his personal wealth is 10 billion, I think.
There we go. A man worth
maybe
10
more, I
billion.
don't know.
And he doesn't have to spend his personal wealth because his company turns out 20 plus billion a year. I don't know how much of that is pure profit, but any of us could afford to take on the debt of Manchester United and pay it off in a business. Look, if Jim Ratcliffe wanted to buy it, he could buy it. It could be done. He's mega, mega rich. But if Manchester United was sold, do you think the new ownership would want its own manager, or would it keep Ruben Amorim?
No, I think they would keep him for the time being.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any sort of. I think if the new owners come in, especially if it's from the Middle East, that it'll be as you were until they get established and, maybe this evening, but then it'll not be straight away.
I I think it will be. I think I think the only thing keeping Ruben Amorim in a role right now is that he was the new board's decision to replace Erik ten Hag, their first big decision when it comes to managerial appointments, and money, how much it will cost to replace Ruben Amorim. And I think if you take the money out of it, Jim Ratcliffe has a serious decision on his hands because it's not working.
Yeah, well, you could be right. I mean, Ineos are just saving face at the minute with Ruben Amorim.
They are.
You know,
And it's who crumbles first between themselves and Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim, to survive this season, to get anything from this season, right, needs at the very least, right, a centre-back and a centre midfielder in January. Somebody commanding who can play the centre-back role on the left-hand side. Lissandro Martinez is still to come back into that team, I know that, but they still need another one because Luke Shaw doesn't look convincing in the left centre-back role. There's things he does very well and things he does very poorly. Diogo Dalot is the same. There's things Dalot does really well and things he does really poorly. A left back and a right back would also be shouted. Look, for him to keep his formation and his system, United would need to make personnel changes as early as January, and they've no money.
yeah.
So I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think any other big owner in the Premier League would be suffering the record that Ruben Amorim has at the minute. And we'll move into the Liverpool game now. If they're hammered by Liverpool at the weekend, it's going to feel very Erik ten Hag-ish. Remember the time we got beat 7-0?
Well, let's hope it's not that scoreline.
I don't think it will be. I honestly think, right, if we're going to talk about Liverpool now, I think United might give a good account of themselves the weekend. They seem to really up it in bigger games. Because they sit in and they defend a wee bit more. And Liverpool are going to come at us. They'll not respect us.
Of course they are. But the only thing is that Liverpool have injury worries as well. Alisson is out. What it took Ryan Gravenberch is a what do you call it? A doubt. There's a couple of other ones, and what do you call him? Mohamed Salah's not pulling up trees at the minute.
No, he's not. I mean, Liverpool aren't playing.
Or frustrated with him.
Liverpool aren't playing brilliant at the minute. They're still winning. You know, they're still maintaining.
And it's at Anfield.
It's at Anfield, yeah. One of the brilliant things about Liverpool is you mentioned two players there. I don't know much about their new goalkeeper that replaced Alisson, but he doesn't look bad. A few shaky moments, a bit like Trafford and Man City, just bedding himself in. When Ryan Gravenberch gets injured, he gets replaced by Alexis McAllister. Let that sink in. That's the backup for Ryan Gravenberch, man. Alexis McAllister. That's insane. That's how strong Liverpool have actually become. Their midfield, strongest midfield as I see it, is Sabalazai, Ryan Gravenberch and Wirtz. And when they want to make changes, they've got options in the bench like Alexis McAllister, who doesn't start, who can come in off the bench. So realistically, they'll play Sabalazai, Alexis McAllister and Florian Wirtz against us the weekend. That's insane. That's probably one of the...
We just have to be on our game. You know, we just have to, I don't know, keep it tight at the back and play a mind over Cunha again.
Yeah, I think if I'm being realistic, and even you in your positive optimism will have to concede this one, Liverpool need to have an off day. Manchester United can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's essentially what needs to happen. Their midfield and our midfield is... There's a chasm there that cannot be overcome. No matter what options we pick to play the midfield or what system we pick to play the midfield at the weekend, even if he abandoned his system, Liverpool's midfield is one of the best in Europe. So you need to sit back and be very tight to the centre-backs the weekend so that you get the help that you need. Because if Bruno Fernandes starts maroon all over the pitch and Casemiro gets lost, Liverpool will kill us.
Yeah, I agree with you. Bruno Fernandes has to be disciplined in this match.
Very.
Is it Saturday or Sunday, Rory?
Sunday?
Is it?
I think it's Sunday. I think it's Super Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
And it is Super Sunday, yeah, actually. It definitely is on Sunday. Because a few people had said to me that they were off work on Monday for it. A few people get really hyped up still for the Manchester United versus Liverpool game. And it's usually United fans. It's interesting to see because the Liverpool ones have got that ahead of us that they don't get themselves up for it like United fans do. The United fans, they look at it and be like, oh, we have to win this. If we win this, we can rub it in their face. It becomes this brilliant thing, which is kind of sad because it just goes to show where we are at the minute, that a win over Liverpool would be one of the highlights of our season, but it is what it is.
Well, it always was one of the highlights of my season, even though we're at the top at times. It was great to beat Liverpool.
Yeah, United can beat Liverpool. I do think Liverpool need to have an off day. I think if Liverpool are full strength and at us for 90 minutes, we'll concede. We'll concede 2 or 3. And I don't think we have the goals in us at the minute to beat Liverpool. But if we can catch them and sit back and just play counter-attacking football all day, we have the pace to hurt them. And that's where you would maybe want Cunha on over Mount. I would play Mount in the first half, definitely, but Mount would be coming off for Cunha to try and catch Liverpool in the last few minutes. But the full-back positions are a worry.
Well, Patrick Dorgu had a good international break, as did Ahmad. I know Ahmad doesn't play the full-back for his country, but Dorgu was very good now in both Denmark matches.
He's a very limited footballer for me. Very.
Are you worried about his defensive attributes?
I don't think he's good enough to play in the Premier League. I don't think he's good enough to start in the Premier League at the minute. I think he's a backup substitute trying to learn his role, who's been thrust into the starting space and is getting immense criticism because unfortunately he deserves it. He's not great. But then I don't like Diogo Dalot on the other side either. I don't like Amad Diallo playing right wing. I think you're shoehorning a 10 into a right wing position because we don't have anyone else to play him. Yeah. The wee fella Pedro Leon, he's dropped off a cliff. Thought maybe he would be good enough to start. He's now playing for the under-23s. Luke Shaw should arguably be out where Patrick Dorgu is, but then can you trust Aidan Heaven to play left centre back? Not too sure.
No, he's not ready.
So
not at Anfield.
No. So I think the game could be won and lost there. I think with the likes of Salah on one side and Ekitike potentially on the other side, I think they'll get at the right centre back and the left centre back. And I think if Luke Shaw gets isolated in a left centre back position with the likes of Mohamed Salah, there could be trouble. And similarly, I think if Lenny Yoro gets put in one-on-one against his countryman Ekitike, it could get messy. Or Cody Gakpo, who's on fire.
Yeah, I mean, take your pick there.
Some depth, don't they? But do you think your man Lamans keeps the spot?
How can you drop him?
Yeah, he kept a clean sheet.
You think they will drop him?
No, I think he kept the clean sheet. He proved me wrong. He surprised me. He was very composed, very sure of himself. He looked like a first team player.
Yeah. No, I think that was the right game to put him in against Sunderland at home. And I will be very surprised and very disappointed if he's dropped for the Liverpool game. Because let's face it, Bayender isn't. He's not super yoked, but he's not super good.
He's poor.
But it's not that. What buoyed me about Laman's performance was he is commanding when the ball's been crossed. He will come out and he'll clear players and he'll catch it with both hands. He's not. His automatic instinct isn't to punch. You know, it was just refreshing to see a goalkeeper catch the ball with both hands.
I agree. I think United have been missing that, and it takes so much pressure off the defence when you have a goalkeeper that can come and claim the ball, because it's heartbreaking for attackers. They set up, they get their set piece routine done, they're running their drills like they're doing the training pitch, and the next thing the goalkeeper plucks the ball out of the sky. Game over. Can't do anything with it. And they can't come and foul him, because if they foul him, the referee will have to give the free kick.
Nobody's brave too. I forget what move it was. You know, when he came in, there was about 4 players around him. And he's a tall lad. He should be jumping and catching ball.
He's a big fella.
He is.
Physical looking fella, which is what you need in the Premier League. So, score predictions for the Liverpool game then, Mum?
I'll go with 2 each.
Oh, okay. I think Liverpool would beat us, but I think it'll be close. I think Manchester United will put it up to them. It's hard. It's not even the quality of the two sides. Like, United beat Sunderland, but before that it just looked so ropey. Like, the Brentford game still hurts.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool. I'm going to be reserved in my prediction that they'll beat us. I think we will definitely sit back more against Liverpool and not let them run away with the game. Star of the match in the United shirt for you?
Star of the match. I'll go with Mason Mount.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think Matthijs de Ligt will be the star because I think he will shackle Alexander Isak. I think it's going to do United the world of good that he was dropped from his national team.
Yeah.
Because he really will have the bit between his teeth now to show what he's capable of. Villain of the match.
Villain of the match. If Dallow's on, he's the villain.
I'm going to go Patrick Dorgu. I think if Dorgu's marking Salah, we're in trouble. I think he'll just let Salah in behind him and he'll isolate Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw and Dorgu have to have the combination game of their Manchester United careers so far. They have to be so tight and talk to each other the whole game and make sure that nobody gets in behind them. Because Verts will drift out into that space to try and come in.
Yeah.
And that'll free up the channel for Salah. But one last question before we finish up for this week, short and sweet. Ruben Amorim gets beat by Liverpool. Okay. And then goes on to get beat in his next game. Does the pressure start to mount on Jim Ratcliffe to sack him before January comes? Or do you truly believe that this man has 3 years and that Jim Ratcliffe wasn't just saying that because it's a nice soundbite?
I think Jim Ratcliffe wasn't just saying it, and I think the pressure is always on the United board where Ruben Amorim is concerned. No matter if he loses one match or 3 in a row, it's always going to be there. And I think Jim Ratcliffe, being the astute businessman and sort of like boardroom fighter that he is, I think he'd stick with his word. Unless it's an unless it's an absolute disaster and we're heading towards relegation, I think he will give him a chance.
Do you think Manchester United will head towards relegation? I said one question, but that's a follow-up question.
Heading hard? No.
Neither do I. I think there's enough in that United side to mount. I think they're going to be just outside the top 10, if I'm being honest. I think there's too many frailties in that team to have any confidence it will break the top 10. I don't think it'll be in a relegation fight, and I think avoiding relegation this season might save, mad as this sounds, might save Ruben Amorim. I think that this is being looked at as his first full season, not last season. I think last season's being discounted, and this is his first full year. And if this year is a failure, I think they'll just turn around and say, right, more players, your own picks, we're going to get more money in from investments, and we go again. And I also think there are another 4 potential huge names that could go out of Manchester United next summer. I think Casemiro is at risk. Bruno Fernandes is always a question mark for me because I still don't think he fits the team. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, nobody really knows what's going to happen there.
Well, apparently Harry Maguire wants to stay, and they're offering him, I don't know whether they're offering him a long contract, but a contract at very reduced wages. So his agents, sort of wrangling about that. But it's going to be, it's a long discussion. But he wants to stay at Man United and see out his career. What age is he? 33?
33.
Yeah, we'll give him a 2-year contract, and that's it. That's it done. But you're right about Casemiro. I can see Casemiro going, and possibly Bruno Fernandes in the summer.
Yeah, I honestly can. I think the two of them will go to make way for a new United midfield.
Yeah.
And I think United could go for a couple of different picks. I think
Ugarte I could see leaving as well.
Ugarte was the fourth that I was going to say. I think Manuel Ugarte will not stay at Manchester United. I think he goes. Kobe Mainoo, Adam Morton, Baleba, and another midfielder. And I'd be really happy. 4 midfield options to play in those roles.
Well,
Kobe to play.
Sorry, before we go, I just read that Brighton are not going to be pressured into selling Baleba in the January window, and that
they've already said it's 100 million or none.
And 100 million next summer.
Pay the 100 million in January if you can.
No, they're not selling them in January. That's what they're saying.
Oh, they're not selling it. You put £100 million on the table and Brighton will take it.
Yeah, probably. Especially with the way he's going on at the minute.
He wants to go to United. He's being
Yeah.
vocal, but he's not. I have to commend his attitude. He's not pushing for it. He's not throwing toys out of prams or down tooling for Brighton. He's still playing really well, but he has been very vocal that he wants to come to United.
Yeah.
So hopefully that can be done in January. I don't know if United would have the funds for it, but I mean, I think that would be a fantastic January signing. So on that note, that's going to finish us up for this week. Short and sweet. International break is just dross, isn't it? I tried to watch Ireland last night and couldn't.
Oh, it's a tough watching Ireland at the minute. Really tough.
I mean, if you're English and you watch England, it's amazing to win 5-0. You're playing Latvia, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
who cares? And
It's a bit of a
I don't know if
gimme,
England
isn't it?
fans maybe disagree with us and say, no, actually, we really do care. But international football is starting to become a spectacle for people who are in the stadium and only people who are in the stadium. If you're not going to the game, it's very hard to get up for it.
It used to come on around every so often. Now it's sort of like play 4, 5 Premier League games and we're into an international break. I think everybody's just sick of the amount of tournaments. It's just taken the shine off some of the tournaments for me.
Yeah, I enjoy the tournaments when the tournaments roll around, but the qualifying needs to be adapted. And like this season is ridiculous. It's just the big teams go to the same tournaments all the time, and the small teams get
Yeah.
turfed out. It's pointless.
No.
Every so often, a shock comes along. You know, there's an underdog story, and somebody gets into it. But anyway, we will be back next week for more. Thanks very much for listening to us. Check us out on our social media pages and give us a like and follow. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.